Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be painting on these pumpkins. Now this is a little holiday fall decoration piece that I found at the store and I thought it would be perfect for customizing. Although I didn't really have a set idea for how I was going to customize it, I knew it would work really well for customizing, and so I decided to buy it even if I didn't have a design yet. Although the design is very nice and very fall and traditional, I still think I could put my own spin to it and make it a little more my style. And so I started off by first ripping off the little top stem of the top pumpkin and taking off the little tag and the little strings wrapped around each of the pumpkins, just because I didn't think they would really match the style that I was going for. And so once I had everything removed, I decided to go ahead and start sanding all of the surface, just to give it more texture in hopes to ensure that the acrylic paint would adhere better to it. Whenever I'm painting something that's not as traditional like a canvas, I try to always make sure to do this step just to ensure that I won't end up wasting all of my time painting something and then having the paint just peel off. And since I'm always using pastel colors, I would always need to do a base white coat, but instead I like using a couple of coats of gesso because it does give everything a white base coat, but more importantly it helps to ensure that the acrylic paint will adhere correctly onto the surface. And giving things a full white base coat can actually make it easier to come up with a design. When things have many colors and different dimensions, it can make it kind of hard to see what you can do with it, but once it has a complete solid white base, you can kind of see more and see what kind of design you can put on it and what kind of different colors you can use to work with the base that you have. And I was also using this time painting the gesso just to buy myself more time so I could cement my idea before I actually started painting that with the actual color. And so now the pumpkins are all completely white and I have to settle on a single idea. And so I decided to pull out this Sculpey air dry clay. I've never used it before, but I knew that I didn't want to waste my actual regular clay where you bake in the oven because I was just going to need a little small piece. And so I decided to go for this air dry clay instead and just ripped a little piece off of it. And so with this little piece of clay, I just measured it to see how it would look compared to the pumpkins and started rolling it up, because I had decided that I was going for an ice cream theme for the pumpkins. And so I wanted a little cherry to be on the top. And I was hoping to find something to do the little cherry stem, but I didn't have any paper clips that would have been the perfect size for it. All I had was some jewelry wire, but it didn't really match well, so I decided to just go on without it. And so once I was done forming the little ball for the cherry, I left it to the side so that it could dry, which took around 2 days. And while that was drying, I went in and started painting the pumpkins. The little potted plant thing on the bottom, I decided it could look like a little waffle cone cup, and so I gave it a little waffle cone color. And then with the 3 pumpkins, I had decided that I wanted it to be 3 different flavors of ice cream. And I decided to go for the traditional chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, just because they're very classic colors for ice cream, and I thought that they would look really nice together. But since I was using a very pale pink and a very white vanilla, it made it so that I had to give it a lot more coats while painting. And so especially the strawberry and vanilla, they took a lot longer to get a solid color compared to the chocolate color. Usually paler colors and more pastel colors do take more layers compared to darker colors. And overall, just painting this thing was very messy and it was kind of hard. There's some spaces and areas that you can't really fit the paintbrush in. And of course, like always, I did film a lot of this off camera, and lots of the times when I was recording, I was off screen. When painting things like this, I find it really hard to do all the details on camera, because I always find that I'm either leaning towards to the side so you can't see what I'm doing, or I'm blocking the camera with my head trying to see every detail. And especially once you get to a really far point, it's kind of scary to mess up because then you have to restart. And so I try to be really careful with the details. And so my original idea was just to paint each of the pumpkins as an ice cream scoop, but they weren't really looking as they should. They didn't really look like ice cream. They kind of just looked like pumpkins with 3 different colors. And so I decided to draw some little drips going down as if the ice creams were melting into each other, which I think really helped sell the idea of an ice cream scoop. And so finally, 2 days later, the little clay ball was ready, and so I started off by sanding it just to make sure that it would be a flat surface and to try to hide any of the cracks in the clay. And luckily, since the Sculpey clay was all white, it was really easy to paint. It only took like 2 coats of the little red paint that I had mixed beforehand. This Sculpey air dry clay really works well for painting since it's completely white, and you can just use any regular acrylic paint for it. Now, painting the pumpkins in an ice cream style wasn't my original idea, but my original idea wasn't really cohesive. I was going to do very different designs for each pumpkin. I was thinking of doing one rainbow and then like a watermelon one, but the ideas didn't really go together, and so I thought it would be better to do something more cohesive. And once the 3 pumpkins were ready, I got out my pre-made sprinkles with which I made with actual Sculpey clay, and I got out my brown tulip fabric paint to add a little bit more decoration to the top of the ice cream. I glued the little cherry on top and added the chocolate syrup, which was just the fabric paint, and added some sprinkles on top just to give it a little bit more detail and try to sell the whole ice cream design. And then off camera, I gave the little waffle cone lines onto the little cup at the bottom, and I also signed my initials and the date on the bottom of the little cup. And so at this point it was finally done, and I just needed to seal it. And instead of doing my normal brush method with Mod Podge, I'm using this gloss finish acrylic sealer, which is for indoor and outdoor use, and this other spray sealant to spray the whole pumpkin piece. This was a lot faster than brushing, And since it was such a big area, I didn't really want to spend lots of days brushing on the sealant, so instead I just took a couple of hours and sprayed the pumpkins with both of the sealants. And overall, I'm really happy with how the sealants work. It gave the whole pumpkin piece a very nice finish. It's very glossy and shiny. And this was a really fun process painting, and I'm overall really happy with how the design came together. It's not really pumpkins now, it's more ice cream. But either way, I'm really happy with it. And I hope you all also enjoyed and liked this video and liked how it turned out. Thank you all so much for watching, and God bless you.